believe, reveal them anyway. Okay, please move. Alright, so we have this cap right here and this cap right here that was replaced, and these two that are right next to each other. So see if I can get this. As you can see, there's a cluster of resistors, about 4 of them right here, plus these 2 yellow caps. I'm assuming they're caps here because they got MFL on it, but the 2 disc caps are right there. That's where they go. I'm assuming they both have to face in the same direction, since one of them was completely trashed. As you can see right here, it's like its legs completely fell apart. As soon as I tried to get it out of there, it just fell to pieces. So that's definitely dead. And the other one had there was one that I had, another one that I had. Just this one right here. You can see its leg completely sheared off. So these things were definitely junk. They weren't making any. They definitely wouldn't have any good contact. So that might have caused some issues with one of the channels, I'm assuming. So that's what I'm praying on, and not be like one of these four attached to these 4 here, the transistor. Because you have the regular transistors here, and you have the power transistors, which I'm hoping it's none of these that's causing channel problems. It's mainly these green caps, the ones that were here, and the ones I just replaced with the orange caps, which I'm hoping so. I still want to, I still kind of want to replace these guys here, because I'm not sure how much longer they're going to last before they finally give out. But maybe I might leave them in there. Enough. Screw it. I just want to take these out. So these are going to be the next 4 I'm going to remove. And then I'm going to attempt to remove this guy here, which I already got one end chopped off. So I'm going to get these removed, and then this thing will be ready to be put back together again. Alright, the last portion of this video that I got the holly caps right here replaced it. They're kind of scattered all over the place, but I'll try my best to remember where they went, but I don't want to use that thing. That's dangerous. Get this flux off. Okay. Alright, the first solder point I got is right at this point right here, in this area. Next one's right here in this spot. That jumps up to this point right here. And the last one is right here for that. For the other 2, one is right here on this position. That was right here. And they both meet up in this spot. So both are facing in different directions. Well, for the other 2 that was down here in this section, they're all facing in one direction. And as you can see, they got these lined up with the negative towards this side here, while the positive is hitting on the other end. You know, flip this over again. It's a little bit of a wreck. I say so myself, but this is the best I can do. Now, there's those 2 in series and those 2 in series facing each other, and there's these 2 in series, along with the last other 2 that I showed, I think earlier. Got those in place to replace that bad one. So as of right now, everything is all set and ready to be put back. So now I get to take all of this and remember my little sheet right here that I got all my stuff written down, and do all this in reverse. Right now, so far I've been onto this for about, I'd say about almost 4 hours. So this is about a 4-hour project that was into it right now. Now I'm going to do all this in reverse. Alright, just chiming in for a piece of advice when putting this thing back together in reverse. When you go to put this thing back together, make sure you actually keep the screws that are holding this, which is the 4 screws, by the way. Keep them loose. Do not tighten them until after everything is all set. right now, since this thing is kind of pinching this board between this surface that's solid and this one here that moves, you want to have this thing having a little bit of play. Because when you have it too tight, this board will actually sit down onto the metal itself, which you don't want it, because you would short this entire thing out, and this entire project that you're doing, like with me, for example, you would basically destroy all your work. So you have to make sure that this thing here is off the ground. This board is a little warped, but there shouldn't be anything that's touching it whatsoever. But anyways, make sure that before you tighten this up, make sure you get these two screws and these two screws here lined up. Get all four of these lined up exactly to this plastic bracket that's right here, as long as it's not sheared or broken whatsoever. If it's broken, you're probably going to have to find a way to reinforce it, because this is basically the piece you need to hold this board up. If not now, then you're probably going to have to find some rubber feet just high enough to keep this board off the bare metal itself, and keep have these holes lined up with the back end of this unit. If you don't, like I said, the whole thing's going to short out. This will give you this piece of advice when you put this machine back together again. Alright, it's now completely put back together now. As you can see, I got the wires all back in the correct positions. Get these wires soldered back together. Have these babies soldered. Them soldered back. Got the caps over here replaced. These two caps replaced. Those two replaced. The two little brown squares replaced. Another two right there. Also replace these two orange caps. And replace these two orange caps. And these two sets of caps. Also, I touched up on the two ends that's down here in these corners. One that's right there, and another one that's right there. I just bridged them with some solder. Hopefully it should be a strong enough connection for a ground for all of them. So, because they're all linked together, they should be good for grounds. Not sure why they got it like that, but it's like that anyway. So now the entire unit is back together again. When I'm crossing fingers, hoping that the unit actually functions on both left and right channel now, and hopefully we haven't lost anything. If we still have channel problems, then most likely it could be one of these four that would have failed, either power or the actual transistors themselves, which is those little bubbles you see right there. Could be one of those, but I'm hoping that it's not the case. It's just a lack of power because some of the caps are gone. So, and I'm hoping that these series caps, that I wish I can actually find something that's exact same value as those, would work out. But I did find a set that might have worked, but unfortunately I don't have them at this moment in time. So, and I went and looked them up on eBay here, which I'll show you. Okay, here's a set here. It's a Panasonic electric lytic capacitors, 680 microfarads at 25 volts. These would probably, I was thinking that these probably would be the best replacements, I guess, if I was to put them as a single cap instead of this dual cap channel thing like this here, which is probably an absolute mess. But you know, I can only do what I can work with. So these are the caps that I ordered, and I calculated them out together. So and that's exactly what I came up with. So they're going to be 40 microfarads higher than the old Holland caps that's in there. That could be good or bad or weak. That's what it would say. Could be either one. So that's the end of this project right here. This is probably going to be a while before I do the next video, which would be putting this unit back together again and putting it back into the cabinet, which to me that's going to be the fun part. Okay, at the end of the video that you just watched, I did some changes to actually help out with this thing a little bit better. So I'm going to go through the changes that I did to give you a heads up. I already let you know that I originally had those backwards, so I put that tidbit towards another spot of the video, so I'm just going to leave that alone. But things I did change, I changed the pairs of capacitors that I was doing, which is these things here. The 330 microfarads at 25 volts capacitors. I went and changed these little pairs out because I don't know, because I had my doubts on how this was going to work. I know some people I've probably would just left it alone, but I had my doubts. So I decided to go ahead and change them out with different sets of capacitors that I bought. They're a little bit more higher value, definitely, from the originals. The originals were like 620 microfarads, I think it was. No. Yeah, about 620 microfarads at volts. So instead, what I went with these caps here, which is 680 microfarads at 25 volts. So instead of being the 640, this is 680, which is the closest ones. They said for some videos I watched on YouTube, I heard it's probably best to go a little bit higher, since it probably won't affect, because all they're going to do is have a little bit more of a charge than anything else, and the voltage is more like a tolerance level. So I just went ahead with those and replaced them, put them all like this. One change up I decided to do, the ground wires that were attached, I decided to solder these here instead, since they basically have these grounds attached to the wires that go straight down to the bottom of this thing, which is stupid. I went and changed it with this right here, so this is now soldered to the two wires that's sitting here on the bottom here. They're coming up to this, and it doesn't really matter because they're both ground anyway, so they're touching each other. And one thing I did notice, which if people wanted to when they go to work on this unit to probably make this a little bit better, you can actually do this modification. Do like you can probably change or like update these RCA plugs in the back. You can probably update these things, but you probably have to drill this out. Or you can actually find different colored wires like these here. Find all of these colors and see if you can. Which I'm pretty sure why not. You can have these directly soldered to this right here. To just switch. Because for what I looked underneath this unit, but all these wires that's here are the exact same thing, and they're just going directly to this. There is no deviation of them going anywhere. It's just all these wires, all 8 of them, going in a straight line, straight over here. That's it. That's all there is. Which, to me, that's pretty stupid and lazy. Which, you can easily probably tell from this board that this thing was cheaply made, and there's hardly any notifications unless you look at a manual exactly on how all this stuff is supposed to connect together. It's like when they first made these things, they didn't know how to print the labels on the top of this board to show what goes where. All you have is just the traces that go up on the bottom that go to each cap, resistor, diode, and whatever. So, but that's a change that you could possibly do, and like I said, this is a change I did, and also change these two caps, and this lonely cap over here. So, now, I pray that all of this is actually connected correctly like it should, which I'll look at the original video, which you'll probably might see a ding up on the screen possibly, or like a bing, which I'll probably put there. So, and you probably just heard it. Anyways, that's gonna be it. So this thing's gonna now go back to its original home in Grass Lake, where the unit's actually at. I'm gonna put those caps into this little bag here, along with the other spare cap that I got right here. So that way I keep it all in this unit. And we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.